Okay, so you are meditating, you are doing breath work, you are starting to notice your senses, and you are feeding your brain data. That data, where you have this new thing going on in your life. You have this awareness about your senses, which leads to actuating them. Okay, then you notice eventually that this is a natural means of communication between yourself. This is the converse of the self. Um, and then now this is also new data, or at least being in a state of awareness about it might be new data for your brain. And eventually it will start to lead, and you'll start to become notice aware of your behavior patterns. And then from your behavior patterns, you will start to understand the self. Start to understand that you are caught up in a game, more or less, of call and response. You're moving through life with a mechanism in your mind, in the narrative of survival within your mind that works like call and response. And what is call and response? It is, to put it in biological terminology, it is a signal and then is a response to that signal, is a response of stimuli to that signal. And I think that our language and our communication work within the framework of that mechanism, that game, as we move through life. And so you will notice these subtleties in your behavior patterns as you prolong the conversation with the self, your journey to mindfulness. Um, and so, you'll find out something along the lines of probably what Nietzsche discovered was that your games kind of represent the narrative of your life, and the mechanisms represent the how. And I think Sam, I guess, echoes this point. You can have objectively a better experience with reality and with the self, with yourself. And probably that looks something like having better converse with the relationship to life. Okay, so now let's imagine that you have been meditating for a while. You are in this state of ever becoming more aware of your senses and actuating them through your breath work. You are even observing and noticing that your body has this natural converse happening more and more. You're becoming more aware of it, more present of it. You're accumulating that type of data. You're noticing things even so much as your behavior patterns, um, and the games that you play or participate in life, and that you are going through life kind of professing things. You're kind of summoning things. You're kind of calling out to ideas or interests, and it's kind of summoned in a way from existence. some type of call and response. And then, maybe you read Nietzsche's work or his book, his work, and you like the question that he poses, that he suggests. This idea of being aware of those games that which make up the narrative of your life, and realize, if you can, the mechanisms. And his grand point is, through all of that, through all the living, through all you existing, his unifying thought thesis is that we're all looking for power. And even, we're looking for power. And, his kind of tone about it, the whole thing is, don't, don't joke too much. Don't, don't, you know, his argument is basically, don't be silly about it. The idea that we're looking for power, that's exactly what we're all doing. And so, if you are this individual, this this constitution of self, you are if you are the self in its continuous state. Nietzsche's point, his idea is that you would be looking for power to survive. And he just kind of says, try that on. Look at that through how you look at what constitutes being a human being, the human condition. And it makes a lot of, I think, logical, uh, intuitive, uh, progress towards the idea of the self, um, and ideas and conversations leading to the idea of the self. I think his idea that we're all looking for power, sounds pretty biologically sound. Um, okay, so let's say you're doing all that. You're meditating and everything, and you are on your pathway, your journey of the self. What comes next?